Everybody get up, everybody get up. Yeah, welcome to Anita Vita Rise. All right, everybody, welcome. It's Anita Vita Rise. Anita Vita Rise, yeah. Anita Vita Rise, yeah. Anita Vita Rise, yeah. Who can make it better? Anita Vita Rise. In all types of weather, Anita Vita Rise. Get you back together, Anita Vita Rise. Go send her a letter, Anita Vita Rise. Anita Vita Rise. Anita Vita Rise, yeah. Anita Vita Rise, yeah, yeah. Anita Vita Rise.
Welcome to Rise with Anita Vita. I am your host, Master Teacher Anita Vita, and I'm so grateful and thankful you are here with me today. As you know, this show aims to amplify women's voices so they are able to share their stories and become a ripple effect of healing in this world. Today's guest is super special and very near and dear to my heart. She is the MP-Elect for Mississauga, Streetsville, Canada, and a creative entrepreneur. Not only that, she's also an amazing super mama. So please help me welcome Miss Rechie Valdez to the show, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. I appreciate you so much for being here. And one of the things that I know that I admire about you is just the life that you have been leading to be at this point now in your career. And, I'd love for you to share with the audience how you really came from corporate banking to entrepreneurship, philanthropy, as well as now politics.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much. I think that everything you just described is just a part of my journey. I believe that life doesn't have a very defined beginning or end. Everything in my life came because I was in a certain space, and then an opportunity or a tug at my heart changed, which made me switch direction. And the reason why I'm able to do that, or was able to do that, was because I remain open to the universe. What that means to me is if you're open to change, or open to wherever the universe takes you, you open up your mind and your life and to whatever you desire, and you're open to whatever opportunity pulls you in a certain directions. So for instance, from corporate banking to moving into small business entrepreneurship, Anita, I wouldn't have been able to do that if I wasn't open to taking on the new challenge of, for me in this case, it was baking. I was inspired to bake because, or started my business because I started baking for my little girl. Cassidy turned 1, and I baked her first cake. And I still remember the day that I put these ingredients together and the magic that happened when I baked the cake. And it wasn't just the fact that I baked the cake and did it for her first birthday. It was the first time I really tapped into my own personal creativity. And this was really special because before that, I was really struggling to find my creative side. I was struggling to really kind of get more closer to it. So that was from that one transition to the other. And then from small business entrepreneurship through to other areas, whether it's my not-for-profit side or into politics, that was very much that same thing. It's being open to different opportunities that come your way, but also making that educated decision in your life to say, yes, I'm ready, and having that confidence to just move forward with it.
I like that you said being open to the universe, because I know they throw that term a lot. Like, what does it mean to be open? What does it mean to take risks, to actually go after your desires? And in you sharing what had transpired from corporate world, and then being inspired by your daughter to take these amazing, to make and bake these amazing cakes and goodies and treats, because I've seen that you also, it was to the point that you were also invited on as a contestant on the Big Bake, which is like a really well-known baking show in Canada. And it was just fascinating to watch because, when you and I met at first, I think it started to sound like you were in the middle of making, in that kind of teeter-tottering between, well, what am I going to do next? What am I inspired to do? What really lights me up? And really go after my desire, even without knowing all the steps, right? And now here you are, and it is so inspiring to watch you, because many people right now who is watching you, who watches the replay, is going to be wondering, like, man, I feel that tug in my heart. Am I going to listen to that today, like in this moment right now, and be inspired, take action? Or am I going to still like, oh, table it off or put it in the back burner or distract myself and just do something and just stay where I'm at and not allow myself to grow? So, with that being said, what is the greatest growth that you are experiencing in this moment, with that culmination of being a small business owner, as well as, also helping your community? Like, who is the Rechie now, with all of that in your heart and weighing on you, not weighing on you, being inspired by it and continuing to flow with it?
That is probably the most beautifulest question, and I'll tell you why. Because when I look back at the 41 years, the best part of the growth that you were referring to that I'm experiencing right now is because I get to finally do something where I tap into the physical side of me, the mental side of me, the spiritual side of me, the creative side of me, all the different hats or the different things that I love. I have to, in this particular role, tap into all of them all at once. And so in previous roles, I would use my intellect. In some other roles, I would use my organization skills or my creativity and so on and so forth. But in this role, Anita, it needs all of me. And for me, the reason why that's the greatest growth is because it charges me up in a way that I never expected. And it allows and enables me to do much more with that, because if I'm tapped into every part of me, the output is also much greater, and I'm able to achieve more, and I'm able to just be way more productive in my day. But also it's just so engaging to be able to contribute in a world where you can use all of you. And kind of back to what you were saying before, all of us are challenged by so many different things. When you want to do something, there's a lot of things that'll hold us back, right? You know what it is. Like, number one thing is fear. So fear holds us back because it prevents us from moving forward, whatever that fear is. And I'm actually happy to share that long time ago, I actually had the fear of failure, and I actually had the fear of success. And so the reason why I'm telling you this is because with the fear of failure, I wouldn't even start anything because I was afraid of failing. So I would actually never start. But then I feared success. So then when I started something and it started to do well, it meant, oh my goodness, I have to like stay accountable. And then it would hold me back from moving forward. So that yo-yo in life that I experienced, like, it was really tough. And so what helped me get through those fears was understanding that fear is okay. And I had to really understand that it's okay to have fears, but there's ways that you can overcome it by simply not focusing on your fears, but instead focusing on, say, your goal, your long-term goal, or focus on the things that that really matter to you or what you're passionate about. And so the volume of your inner passion, your inner love, your goals get louder and the voices of your fears go smaller or softer, you're able to achieve more. I hope that all makes sense.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it sounds to me that, that was your particular mindset shift, right? From fear to what's the possibility of that could be, because you're remaining open. And
Right.
at some point, it sounds like, well, I'm just sick, because there's this point in that part of you where you're trying to like commit. Are you going to commit and see it through and be okay with it? And like you said, like it sounds like an embracing and being okay with it. I remember one of my own mentors called failing. A new acronym for that would be first attempt in learning. And I thought that was like so brilliant. So if I would remember that, like it's okay because it's learning. It's never failure of anything, or you don't fail at all if you learn something, because then at least you get to see the contrast of both on the other side when you finally make it, or you do it, you reach your goal, or or a vision, or versus the other side of it. It's like, man, but it's taking all these steps. And so that's okay. And that's a part of growth. And that's what continues to inspire you beyond that, because it's, again, continuous. And I'm glad that you're sharing that with the audience now, and even with me and it serves as a reminder, because it's always a practice, right? There's no like, here's my blueprint, works every time. And you'll be called to such higher levels of yourself. And I think it's so beautiful that you shared, Anita. I love this role that I'm in now because I get to use all of me, my wholeness. And I don't think I've heard anybody say it so beautifully, how much aligned you are. And in alignment, you are actually in flow, right? What may seem like a busy schedule and a tight schedule and demanding of your time, because you're inspired to use all of you and circulating that type of energetic vibration, it actually feeds you and energizes you rather than depleting you.
Exactly.
And that's brilliant. That is like your secret sauce. So, right, that's anybody, like test it out. Like when you are able to, like Rechie had said, take all those pieces of you, whatever, your skills, your talents, your creativity, and combine it all together. When they overlap, it's it's a straight shot. You're able to reach and overcome, reach any goal and overcome any obstacle. So now that all these layers of you are coming out, and I'm thinking of your girls because you mentioned your girls, what inspires you to continue to be a role model for them?
Yeah, so a few things inspire me. But my kids. So Kyle is 12. For everybody who don't know, my family, and Cassidy's 6. So I teach my kids all the time. I'm like, guys, listen, believe in yourself, go out there, work hard, do your best. And so here's the thing: like, if Anita, if I'm giving them that advice, am I listening to it? And ever since I became a mom, I realized that it was even more important for me to be a role model for them, because if I gave them advice and if I was giving them direction, I sure as heck have to be able to follow through with the things I teach them every day. And so that accountability as a mom actually helped me
Mm,
so much in, running a business, or
yeah.
creating new ideas. So my kids are the ones that definitely inspire me to do better each day, simply because I have to remain accountable and responsible for them.
Yeah.
That's definitely number one. But I feel like for any of us, inspiration comes in the moment. So I'll meet someone brand new. I'll be talking to them like at a coffee shop, and that conversation, oh, you're like, whoa, you learn something new, and you get inspired. Others are inspired by nature. I've talked to so many people who love to be outdoors, and just by being in that peace, turning off the devices, stepping away from the regular life, that really gives you an opportunity to have like that clear
Yeah.
peace of mind. And so for me, inspiration comes from everything, from all the different places and spaces, from actual art, from music. You have to tap into all those different things, because inspiration is everywhere. I think it's just about how you perceive the world, and really paying attention to all of it.
I'm so grateful that you shared that. And you're right, even in the ordinary, you can be inspired. And it just takes a change in perspective. And what I find too is also being in gratitude. I think with all the things that's happening, all the chaos, or seemingly looking, craziness that's happening in the world or even in your life, it's easy to just stay in that type of vibration and not think to, well, what do I have now? Who can I inspire now? And it takes also on your part to be that for somebody else, especially if you're full. So you can actually pour into with overflow. And with this abundance of energy that I'm feeling from you and your desire and your passion to give in every way that you can, not only to your family and your community as well, it's so palpable, and I can feel you like through it as as you share your tone of voice, and truly being in a position to not only inspire change, but you're literally like being the change that you want to see in the world, and it's happening, and it's amazing to watch and to see. And I just commend you for your bravery and your courage, because to be even in this place, it's not easy. I'm sure there's moments in time where you've questioned yourself, like, man, can I even do this? Is this what I really want? Did I really ask for this? And I wanted to deep dive into that mindset when those fear mongering or these types of questions come up, which you had touched on earlier about like fear and failure come up. I wanted to just like take a quick break to just share with you all the amazing company that is sponsoring our episode today. So just sit tight, sis, and we'll be right back. What's up, family? I am Anita Vita, Master Medical Qigong teacher and healer. I believe that nurses deserve to be nurtured as much as they give. As a high-performing woman myself, I coach women how to overcome chronic gut pain so that they have total freedom in their life through the practice of medical Qigong. In 2011, while working as a nurse in the post-anesthesia unit, I experienced severe burnout, and it expressed itself as IBS, or irritable bowel syndrome. Discovering this practice allowed me to eradicate this gut disease completely and naturally through meditation alone. The slow, mindful movements of medical Qigong are potent and transformational, recalibrating your cellular structure by cultivating your body's natural energy and healing source called Qi. Today, I coach and empower women to achieve the same result through private and group programs, workshops, and retreat experiences to awaken you to your truth and be the highest version of yourself. If you're still in pain, you've tried everything, and you're sick and tired going from doctor to doctor with only prescriptions and strict diets as solutions, fear no more, my friend, because you have found me. Send me a message right now at anita@nacionvita.com, and we'll get you to rise out of that pain, guaranteed.
Mafe Management is a company dedicated to empowering individuals and businesses in entertainment, special events, talent management, content creation, digital and traditional marketing, and public relations, in working together to turn their dreams into reality. Get one step closer to elevating yourself and your business by contacting hello@mafemanagement.com. Let us empower you.
Now let's get back to the show. So tell us, what practices do you use for yourself to overcome those fears, or tools or practices that you do daily just to keep you, centered throughout your days?
I might have shared this actually with a session with you, but I believe that there's a couple of things that I do like almost like real time. Um, I had, just so everyone knows, like I grew up with severe trauma as a child. I experienced different types of challenges growing up, and that really had an impact on me in such a negative way. And I had some really, really extreme dark times in my life, and the reason why I bring that up is because those times in my life that I experienced a lot of hardship, now as an adult, and I look back, I had to manage, the different things that trigger me. And I talk about that because it's really important to understand that when you're having challenges or difficulty, if you've grown up with certain challenges, it becomes even harder as an adult to make decisions, right? So just with that context, I just wanted to share that some of the ways that I handle the triggers is walking away from a situation that's really difficult if you know that it's not going to be productive. And it's a physically conscious decision that you have to make when you're in person. So if it's someone that's difficult, or if it's a person who's speaking to you in not the greatest way, and you don't, whatever the reason is, I actually walk away from it. And I choose not to deal with it in that moment, especially if I know that it's going to, make me say things I don't mean, or if it's not physically going to be productive, walk away. There's times where emotionally I'm dealing with something and it grips me. I'm a human. I have emotions. I love, one of my favorite things to do is I actually go into my car. I do this even now, and I drive. And I drive to a place where I could just, sometimes it's at night, so sometimes I drive away and I park somewhere and I just look outside and just kind of clear my head. And sometimes if the weather's nice here in Canada, I'll go for a walk. You have to give yourself the space and the freedom to clear your mind so that you can have the opportunity to feel. Don't be afraid to feel. This is really important when you're experiencing challenges, because if you're afraid of your emotions, you'll end up probably hiding it, and then it'll turn into more problems down the road. I'm a big feeler of my emotions. So let's just say you're angry, you're frustrated, you're doubting, every type of emotion you can think of. I actually don't stray away from it. I actually take the time to feel it. And even if it means crying, screaming, whatever, calling my husband or my best friend, I will do it. You have to let it out. You have to feel it out. It's very important. These are just tools that I've used to be able to reset. And that word reset is really important. It is a moment of time where you can choose to, in your case, meditate or use your practice. You have to do whatever it takes. Go to the gym, whatever you have to do. Use every effort to know yourself and know what helps you reset to your center. And as soon as you get back to your center, acknowledge what you're going through, and you have to move on, Anita. Like, you literally have to move on after you've dealt with it. Because if you hold on to it, you'll keep on holding on to it, and you'll have a harder, it'll keep feeling heavy. And that little baggage feels heavier and heavier and heavier each time. But I personally feel like the sooner you let it go, or the sooner you talk about it, whatever the hardship is, the quicker you're able to move on and be productive and continue to work on the things that inspire you.
Yeah, you said so much there that really touched me and I also resonate with. And the one thing that most people don't ever, that I noticed, is avoid the feelings. And it's so, so important. And that you're very, you're committed to, like, I'm going to feel this because there's a message, right? And there's patterns that keep coming up. So if we don't know thyself, like you said, like, that's the key to everything, right? Get to know yourself. Not everybody else. Like, if you really focus on you and you do that inward work, and this is what the inner work looks like, that what Rechie talking about it from her experience, is when those triggers come, to get to know it. Where is it coming from? Why is it there? How can I move through it? And I like that you said, you reach out. For you, it's like you reach out to somebody that you trust, your husband, your best friend. And so notice that there is solutions to everything. Correct. And it may feel like the world is crumbling in your moment, and your trauma is greater than everybody else's trauma. And the thing is, when you decide to take a look, that 20-pound rucksack, or that weight that Rechie talks about, will eventually lift. And I think that's important that you touched on. You're not alone. What I'm hearing from you even say is, like, you're not alone to go through what you're going through. There's always somebody who has gone through it with you. But if you don't, or has gone there before you, or is going through it alongside of you, and it takes courage for you to actually say something and be okay that if you need help or you need assistance, please, reach out, like literally reach out. And I think that's like the most human part of us, right? Our emotions. That's what makes us so unique, and what connects us to each other. And the culmination of what you've said, it's that willingness to be vulnerable too. And starting off with like, hey guys, I've had trauma beyond what you think it may be, and it really rocked you. And so I had to learn, right? Like, I have to just move on. So you can rewrite your story.
Yes.
And it's possible. And that, again, don't be afraid to share something. Of course, share it with somebody whom you trust. That's important, right? And you feel safe. So I thank you for sharing that part of you, Rechie. I know a lot of people right, if we're always on social, it's just may appear that like, oh my goodness, she's accomplished all of these things, and she doesn't know what it's like to be depressed or to have anxiety or all of these things. Actually, in you sharing with us now, I had no idea you had such deep trauma, and you had to learn the trauma work to move through. And yet then look at the other side of you, because you were willing. So thank you for sharing that piece of you with us. I know it's not easy. And I relate. I have my own traumatic experiences. And you guys, trauma doesn't necessarily mean abuse or anything to that extent. It could be you were just triggered when you were much younger in what you see or what you heard. You just don't know where it came from. And on a grander scale, epigenetics, it may be that while in the womb of your mother, she was going through trauma, and it could have passed through you, and you haven't gone through that work to deal with. And so, and it makes us who we are, right, Rechie? Like, why would we write off, man, why did I go through this? And that there's a reason. And at some point, I'm sure you were grateful. You've reached a point of forgiveness and then gratitude for it.
Exactly. A whole lot of forgiveness for others, forgiveness of myself, even at my own faults, and just completely surrendering. You need to surrender. And again, it's the only way that you can have internal peace. It's when you're able to face it and have the courage to move on.
You said surrender. What does surrender mean to you?
Surrender to everyone means different things, but for me, surrendering involves a combination of letting go of the past, letting go, like it's also together with, it's coupled with forgiveness, right? You need to, because people, make mistakes, and there's different reasons why people say do things to us or do things to other people. And you kind of have to forgive anyone that has wronged you in the past. And this is really important, because if you hold on to anger or bitterness, that also, I guess none of us realize that also acts as a weight. And like really, like true forgiveness is absolutely the most freeing sensation when you really let go. And then, so that for me is one way of surrendering. The second is surrendering to, so for me, creativity, I think I mentioned this before, it took so long for me to tap into it because it was kept from me. Mm-hmm. It was something that wasn't originally accepted growing up. And so I suppressed it. Surrendering to me actually represents me surrendering to my whole self, which includes and involves a whole lot of creativity. And it meant tapping into a place that was vulnerable. When I baked a cake and I had to bring my customer's vision to life, for example, that was me on a cake, because I had to add in the special details to make it really special or aligned to whatever the customer wanted. creativity also was just expressing myself through the different things or projects that I worked on. That was a very vulnerable place for me to go into, but I had to surrender to that because it meant accepting that that's who I truly was. And I just kept getting better and better at that. It was so hard. That first year was so hard to do, but then I kept practicing. I had to keep practicing and I kept working on it over and over again. And before you know it, it went from a lot of hard work and purposefulness, and now it just becomes much more natural and organic.
I like that you also shared about how important your creativity was. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to suppressing their creative aspects of themselves
Mhm.
and and then just bursting at the seams to want to at least try something. And I just commend you, sis. That's amazing. Because it's vulnerable to be creative, isn't
Yes,
it? Because
it is.
that's original. That's something that comes from within. That's something spirit guided. And you're just going to run with it and not care what anybody thinks. That's the most important piece.
Exactly.
Because it's you. You're the one unique expression. There will never be another you ever again.
Mhm.
And I like that you champion those to continue to express themselves, even if you have your day job, even if, yes, you become a mom now, like don't ever forget that part of yourself that keeps you in that creative flow to stay in expression of it too. Now, in this moment, how can we support you and what can we do to just continue to champion you on as you enter into this new phase in your life?
Something like this, like just spending time with me, is so much already, Anita. It's just continuing to support one another, whether that's I read every single message that comes my way. I'm not able to respond to every single one as fast as I used to be able to, but I read everything, and that certainly helps. And for those who are prayerful or meditative, just even I actually can feel I feel all the love, like it's like it like hits me so hard. So keep the love, the prayers, the thoughts coming, because all of that really helps. And I mean, that's all I can ask for. Just keep continuing to do that. It really is a lot already.
I'm so happy that you were able to be here with us today. What would be some amazing words to impart to anybody who is feeling lost, who doesn't feel brave enough, and who feel, they're not enough to go after their dreams?
I could say a lot, but I'll simplify it to say that you are your biggest advocate, which means that you need to truly believe in yourself first before anyone else can see you. And listening to yourself will take time. And I know because I went through it. And it's okay not to know right now. I didn't know 30 years ago this was going to happen to me. I didn't know 20 years ago this was going to happen to me. And I sure as heck didn't know 10 years ago either. But that's actually not what matters. What matters is to listen to yourself now. Live in the now. Take care of yourself, please. Because if you don't take care of yourself first, how on earth are you going to serve others? So continue to be you. Be proud of who you are and what you're made of. Each one of us has strengths and weaknesses. Focus on your strengths. And don't worry about the weaknesses, because that's why there's others around us that can help us and support us and lift us. So, I mean, I can say so many things, but really it comes down to believing in yourself. And just to reinforce what Anita said, be inspired and be open to the universe, because you never know what may be just around the corner.
Thank you so, so much, Rechie. I appreciate you. Your words really touched my heart, and I know it touched everybody else who's listening in to your story. And I appreciate you, sis. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Anita.
I look forward to bringing you back again.
For sure.
Yay! So good,
Yay.
sis. Thank you so much.
No problem.
You guys, I hope you have been inspired so fully as I have by Rechie's story and her voice. You know, she has, I know she's touching so many of you watching and listening in. And it's such a reminder to know to advocate for yourself, that nobody's going to know you more than you, and that it takes time. So have grace for yourself, especially when you're starting something new. And know again that you're never alone. You have family, you have resources. So as always, you know, thank you for being here. I know you've received a ton of wisdom because she dropped a lot of gems. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good night, everybody. As always, I root for your rise.
Anita Vita rise, yeah. Anita Vita rise, yeah. Anita Vita.